Hello, I'm Neil. This is the Questionable Plans Workshop. In this video, I'm going to show you how I engraved tiles like this. I want to show you how to mix the solution, how to apply it, and how to engrave it on a 10-watt diode laser. It's my first video, so let's face it, mistakes will be made. The Norton tile method. What is it? It is a method of engraving using a laser on white ceramic tiles like this, using titanium dioxide to embed a marking into the ceramic. But my tiles have a grey, blue and black effect, whereas some people's tiles are more of a black effect and less blue, although there's quite a bit of blue still left on that one as well. Okay, so over the next few videos, what I'm going to show you is my version of the Norton tile method, and also how I get different effects on tiles. So the coating itself is really simple. You require a ceramic tile. I use white tiles. These are from B&Q. I think they were something like £12 for 44 tiles, so reasonably priced. But we also need to make a solution to coat. The solution I use is a mixture of titanium dioxide, water and PVA glue. This is Elmer's, which is a really safe school glue, which I do find it's a little bit thin, but it does work. But if you haven't got this, PVA glue that you get from a DIY store such as Screwfix, Toolstation and the likes, works just as well, though you might need a little bit less to get a good result. So also the application, I've tried many methods. We've had mixtures with isopropyl alcohol, such as this, and we've tried applying using bottles like this, which are not great. In fact, that was a waste of time, money and effort. Very simply, my mixture is 10 grams titanium dioxide, 10 grams school glue, a healthy splat of food colouring, so you can see it on the tiles, and 40 grams of water. Just when we've made it, I'm going to show you how I mix it. The application is actually done with, I purchased one of these. This is a budget compressor and airbrush, though this is not the airbrush that came with it. It's actually quite a nice airbrush that I purchased because it was shiny and pretty, and I fell for Amazon marketing, but it is a very good airbrush. You want to have something around a 0.5 millimeter spray nozzle. The 0.3 just takes forever to apply and it clogs all the time. I bought this because it has between 0.3 and 0.8. 0.8 is too much and it spits. The 0.5 is, for me, about perfect. So you want a 0.5 millimeter for my mix. Okay, mixing the titanium dioxide. It's fairly straightforward. As I mentioned, I use one of these little tubs, and be very careful when mixing this. It spills quite easily. So titanium dioxide, I think, is used in food colouring. So don't think there's any problems with it coming in contact with your skin. So I'm not bothering to wear gloves. I like to work in grams. So we tail that to 0. And I want about 10 grams of this. As I said earlier, I measure this because I want it to be as repeatable as possible. So there we go, that's 6, 8, 10, just like that. There we go, 10 grams titanium dioxide. Like so, I'll put that away. Elmer's glue, and we're just going to add in 10 grams of Elmer's glue. No, we're not, because it's blocked. There we go, 10 grams of Elmer's glue, which it does seem like a lot, but the Elmer's glue is quite thin. If using PVA, I would normally use about 6 grams and 20. There we go. It's the Elmer's glue. In true YouTube style, I've realised that this is a brand new bottle and I haven't opened it. So this is what I've been using. And it is from Jane Asher food colouring. I think it came from Lidl's, maybe, or some grocery store. And a healthy splat, as I said. What I mean by a healthy splat is going to be about that. That took me up to 23 grams, so I'm going to add 40 grams of water. That should take me to 63, yes. No, one extra. All the scales out of the way, and then we give this a good shake. And you can see now we're getting quite a lovely pink colour. Welcome back. Now you can see that we've set up. What we're going to do is quickly give these tiles a clean down. I think fingerprints or dust from manufacturing can have quite an effect on how well the coating takes to the tiles. So just give them a nice wipe down. There's a couple of fingerprints on there and a little bit of splash of the coating from earlier. So give them a nice wipe down until it evaporates off, like so. And we're going to fill up our airbrush carefully without spilling any, hopefully, like so. That may have been just off screen. I apologise. And you will be able to hear the airbrush as well. It's not particularly loud, but you will hear it. Just have a bit. There we go. So I've seen different methods of applying this, and sometimes people say that they apply 3 coats or 2 coats, and it's a little confusing. So I'm going to be very clear on how I apply this. I apply 5 coats. I apply 1 coat in this direction. I'm going to allow it to dry for 10 minutes, and then I'll apply another coat by turning them 90 degrees. Let it dry for 10 minutes, turn them 90 degrees, another coat, and I do that for 5 coats. 3 coats for me do not seem to give a thick enough coating, and I find it too easy to burn through with the laser. So here we go, and you'll see why we have the pink food colouring, because titanium dioxide gives a very white coating, which is difficult to see on a very white tile. Now you can see I'm not making it really thick. I'm just making sure there's no white spots. There we go. That is it. And what I want to do now is I want to put a fan on for 5 minutes and walk away, and I'll come back and see you in 5 minutes. Just a quick point in between, as you see it drying, you'll see it, maybe I hope you can see that it's a little patchy. The dark pink is the drier spots, the light pink is where it has not yet dried. So really you want that patchiness to go away. That's how you know that that layer is now dry. If it looks as though there are areas you've missed, please don't go back over them. Once you create a run, especially if you've done this 3 or 4 coatings and you create a run, you may as well wash it off and start again, because the run will look terrible once it engraves. So what we're going to do is just very carefully turn these around 90 degrees, like so. We're going to mix, shake up that coating. Now, while I'm doing this, also, I don't know if I've mentioned, there is another way to do this that I've seen online. I haven't personally tried it, and that is to use white spray paint. The problem I have with the white spray paint is it looks really difficult to get back off. And on top of that, I imagine it gets quite expensive if you want to do a lot of tiles. If you're only doing a few, then maybe not so much of a problem. But this is definitely cheaper to do and a lot easier to clean. I'm just going to put that to one side and make sure I close this bottle. I just imagine I have a nightmare that one day I will knock that bottle over and it will stain everything. Okay, back to the airbrush again. Now, another thing I didn't mention earlier is I clean my airbrush in between every single one of these, because if the coating dries in the nozzle, it's a real pain. If you take it through and blow some air through and wash it through, it takes about 10 seconds to give it a clean down. So it just makes sense. And also, I'm only doing 2 tiles at the moment. I normally would do 6 to 10 tiles at a time. Normally, I would say 6, because this little tank carries enough to do 6 tiles at a time. With 10, I need to put a larger tank on. Okay, so same as we did earlier. What we're going to do is carefully apply our second coating. I mentioned earlier on, this is the 0.5 nozzle, and it comes out at a lovely rate. I'm just going to go around the edge like so, and just like that. That's the second coating. Okay, I will let that dry for another 10 minutes and then I'll be back. Okay everybody, that was coating number 2, and as you can see, it's dried quite nicely and quite level. There's a couple of little speckles on there, but I'm hoping they will cover over in the next 3 coatings. I'm sure you don't want to listen to me for the next 3, so I'll just speed things up and play a bit of music. But here we go. Level coating. Now I would leave these for about 30 minutes to make sure they're completely dry. If they're not dry, then you'll find you'll get spotty and random effects. But next time I see you, we'll be looking at the laser. Welcome back. I'm going to show you how I engrave the tiles using laser Gerbil. If you're interested, I can also include the light burn settings in the comments. But I've always used laser Gerbil as I found this the easiest to use, and obviously it's free. Firstly, what I'm going to do is transfer my tile into laser Gerbil. Just drag it in like so. And this is the tile that we are going to engrave. My settings are already set up, but what I find is with laser Gerbil and with light burn, you probably want this to be a little bit higher in contrast than what your ultimate tile will look like. The settings I've got at the moment are a brightness of about 100 to 102. Contrast is 112. White clip is around 56. Line-to-line tracing, quality of 10 lines per millimeter, and this is how my image appears on the screen. I hit next. The settings that I'm going to use are
an engraving speed of 3500 millimeters per minute. We're using the laser mode, the dynamic laser mode, and we're going to use a minimum of 5%, maximum of 70%. So in laser Gerbil, that would be 50 and 700. 300 dpi, and because it's a 150 millimeter tile, I set it to 155 just to make sure it's just over the edge all the way around and I don't end up with a white line at the edge of my tile. If we go to create, it will create an image for me in laser Gerbil. Now I'm not currently attached to my laser, it's in the other room. So what we're going to do now is work our way through and set up ready to engrave.
Well guys, that's it. You did see me prepare 2 tiles though. So, which do you prefer? The blue-grey or the black and white? If you'd like to find out how I did these, come and see the next video. I'll show you the quite simple change that gives you the blue-grey effect or the black and white effect. If you found this interesting, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video. Thank you.